Hi, I'm Robert,
Hello again. I'm Jaron.
and this is what we really thought of The Hangover Part 2, Kung Fu Panda 2, and X-Men First Class.
Welcome to next time.
Welcome to next time. So what do you think of The Hangover
Okay.
Part 2?
I liked it, but I didn't love it. I guess I kind of ended up with the only way I could kind of describe how I felt about it. Like, I liked it, and I kind of knew I would because I absolutely adored the first movie. But I didn't love it in the sense that it was funny. The eh,
Second verse, same as the first.
exactly.
It's literally goes beat for beat from the first one. It takes all the same narrative bits. The location is different. They're in Thailand this time around. And I will say I like Thailand better than Vegas just because of the potential for darkness was greater.
Yeah.
I thought the jokes in the first one were better, even though most of the jokes in the first one were spoiled by the ads, and I'm sure part twos were as well, but I didn't watch any of the ads for this one.
Yeah.
And yet, for some reason, I like the first one more than this one, even though the jokes were ruined for me on the first one.
I think it's just because they worked better the first time around. You know, this time they felt a lot more forced. There was a lot of things about this movie.
Yeah, they
that
sort of
felt really
shoehorned
forced.
in a lot of elements from the first one that didn't need to be recycled, like
Yeah.
certain character appearances,
Yeah.
Certain-
Some of the stuff
certain narrative aspects.
just to mirror the first. You know, for the sake of mirroring it. You know.
We'll say the chemistry between the cast is still great. They work together really well. I wish that some of them would have had more screen time, like Ken Jeong, I think, does an excellent job.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also the danger in basically everything he does of overexposing him. I mean, he can get grating if he's on for too long, but I think they didn't quite give him enough to do. Although I was surprised by how I thought they what I thought they were gonna do with the character.
Yeah.
So they did have a couple surprises, but mostly the jokes are recycled. The narrative is recycled.
Yep.
It's made enough money now. There's going to be a part 3, so I just hope part 3 is going to be a little bit more inventive.
Yeah, at least try something new with it. This one kind of just felt like the first one, just kind of like we have to up the scale. But that's like all they did. You know, they just upped it to Bangkok. That was like kind of like all they did. Like now, I guess they had more to play with, so all they did was just throw more money at it. You know.
Anything else to say?
No, I was kind of worried at first that Zach might get overwritten in the movie, and I'm still not sure if he was, but he just didn't get to the point where I was like beyond annoyed by him, you know. But I really was worried about that fact just because he was kind of the it character, you know, that came out of the first one. So I was really worried they were just gonna overwrite the crap out of him, and it was gonna get to the point where I was just sick of Zach Galifianakis. So,
But that didn't happen.
no, it didn't happen for me. But there's every chance that maybe somebody else out there was like, "Oh my God, why won't they just leave this guy alone?" But there are some storyline elements where you start to wonder
Why they're
he's
still associating with that character.
Yeah. So there's that. Hopefully they won't use the same storyline elements again for the third one, or else some serious questions are going to be raised.
Yeah. Okay, Kung Fu Panda 2, DreamWorks sequel. Poe the Dragon Warrior has to go defeat the evil peacock Lord Shen, who has developed the new weapon of cannons that may destroy Kung Fu as we know it. Yeah. You didn't see the first film. What did you think of this one without the context of the first? Did you think you got everything that you need to get.
Yeah, speaking solely as somebody who has not seen the first one, I was able to watch this and fully comprehend everything that was going on. I mean, just based off of cursory knowledge of the first one, I kind of gathered what it was about. Especially, I don't know if they completely recap the first one for you, but they give you enough basic elements that you understand what's going on. You understand who all the characters are, and it's pretty much just them on a new adventure. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I was definitely able to enjoy it without necessarily seeing that first one.
So what do you think? Did you like it?
I did. I enjoyed it. I knew I was going to enjoy it, but I enjoyed it even more so than I thought that I already was.
I enjoyed it as well, but I think we both had some similar issues of seemed like the narrative structure was a little bit out of whack. I mean,
It's weird.
they have an introduction, sort of Act 1, and then it seems like they go to Act 3. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
specific montage of them traveling that seems like it's the lead up to a final battle.
Yeah.
And then it's not. And then there's another seemingly final battle. And then it goes into what would probably be Act 2 in
Then-
most movies.
Oh yeah,
And
Act
then
2.
back to another climactic battle.
Yeah, yeah, and it, like I said, I enjoyed the film, so somehow it worked. But I cannot see that working for like any other movie.
It's narrative whiplash, but
Yeah.
they somehow managed to make it work. I
Yep.
mean, the jokes are well written, the action is surprisingly well done. The music is decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was another one. It was a kids' film that I could genuinely say the jokes were funny. You know, that I was genuinely laughing at them. It wasn't like kind of like one of those, oh, that would have been funny if I was, like 10 type things. It was, I was genuinely laughing, and it was that stuff that maybe a younger kid wouldn't necessarily get. Like, I was specifically laughing a lot of times at their ability to take some like kung fu movie tropes that you would normally see and kind of turn them on their head a bit.
Yeah.
Those moments were quite entertaining.
So I would recommend seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good theatrical experience.
Mhm.
You as well?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, especially if you watched the first one. By all means, go see this one.
Now on to X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class, the semi-reboot of the X-Men series.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that are done again or acknowledged from the original X-Men movies, and there are some things that
Are
completely
forgotten.
go against what was done the other three.
Mm-hmm.
Well, other four, I guess, with the Wolverine spin-off.
Namely the two that could arguably be considered the bad ones.
Yeah. Yeah, you made 4 movies, and one of them was good.
That was amazing.
I'd say this is directed by Matthew Vaughn, who did Kick-Ass, Stardust, Layer Cake, which is highly recommended, by the way, by me. Yeah, by me. Yeah, I'd say this was a good film. It takes place in the 1960s, 1962, I think. Cuban Missile Crisis, so whenever that was. And it follows the story of Magneto, him learning how to use his powers, and then Charles Xavier sort of coming into his own, and then them finding sort of the first generation of mutants and training them how to use their powers to save the world from
Nuclear war? Yes.
Oh. It's pretty big.
It is. There's a lot going on in the movie.
I thought everyone was well cast, I think.
Yeah.
There wasn't a weak player in the bunch. I mean, some of them didn't have anything to do, but that was sort of script-wise.
The nature of it.
Action is well done. Some of the effects are a little bit lacking, so I can't tell whether that was just their budget or whether just because they rushed to meet this date that they didn't
Yeah.
quite get to put the final polish on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say it's a very good movie. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the other X-Men movies. I mean, Jaron, you didn't particularly like the other X-Men movies, did you?
Yeah, I was a pretty big X-Men fan, but after the the downhill trip of the previous X-Men movies, I'd kind of fallen out of favor from with the series, and we had a discussion about when the movie was still being made about I wasn't really all that excited about this movie, but as it got closer to it, I was actually looking forward to it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'd say my biggest problems were with the third act. The third act seems a bit overstuffed. There is a lot being done in there. It comes to climax, and then there's another climax, and there are a lot of sort of game-changing events shoved into that last 5 minutes that I think would have been better placed in a sequel. I mean, I understand if maybe they thought they wouldn't get to have a sequel than putting it in there, but still seems pretty forced what they did with it.
Yeah.
And then trying to avoid spoiling it, but
Yeah.
there are some
Some revelations that happen a bit too quickly to to feel natural
yeah.
is the biggest issue with just packing so much into the ending.
It seemed like they had a checklist of things they wanted to do, and then they didn't necessarily think through all of them. Also, say there was sort of a jarring bit where the character gets killed who has had no character development,
Yeah.
and that's supposed to be sort of a driving force to the end, but
We've literally just learned his name.
yeah, and he's then almost completely forgotten after that point.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'd say X-Men First Class, we're seeing.
Definitely.
So run down Hangover 2.
If you really liked the first one, you should really go see just watch the first one again. But
I'd say it's maybe worth a rental, but
Yeah.
not worth the theatrical view.
no,
Kung Fu Panda 2, I'd say watch it. It
definitely.
doesn't have to be seen in theaters, but you should definitely see it. It's a good movie.
Even if you haven't specifically seen the first one, like I hadn't, go ahead and go see it.
And X-Men First Class, go see it now,
Yes.
so we can get a good sequel.
Yeah, this one needs to make money so we can, actually encourage the good movies.
Yeah. I like that cast.
Yes, I want to see them do. I want to see them do more, especially Magneto and X. They did really well.
Yeah.
I really want to see all of them do it again. So.
Okay, that's it for now. We'll see you next time.